A very warm welcome to all European participants that are joining us today and presenters, and a very warm good day, good afternoon to our colleagues from in India. Thank you very much for joining us all today. This webinar, it is very important as part of the EU-India matchmaking event that is coming this month. Before presenting the agenda of the webinar, I will quickly go through the housekeeping rules. This webinar is scheduled to last 1.5 hours. It will be recorded and afterwards published on the European Cluster platform. In mode, if you'd like to raise a question or need some information, please use the chat box or the Q&A box. Some of the questions that we will not be able to respond directly today, we will take a note and we'll follow up with you during the next days in preparing for this matchmaking event. So now, without further delay, we will go through the agenda of the webinar. We will start with opening remarks. Then there would be a dedicated session on market access information. We will hear the regional approach, and there will be a presentation of the input paper. After that, we have a presentation of India IPSME Help Desk, followed by a presentation of the Bangalore Tech Summit. Colleagues will help from our partners from India will help us in presenting what to expect and how to prepare best for the Bangalore Tech Summit, attending the summit. And I will brief you about the next steps towards the matchmaking event. My name is Teodora Jilkova. I'm part of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform team, and I will be moderating the webinar today. So without further delays, let's continue with the opening remarks. And here I would like to give the floor to Christophe Guichard, the Policy Officer, Unit on Industrial Forum, Alliances and Clusters, DG GROW of the Internal Market at the European Commission. Christophe, good morning. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Teodora. Good morning, everyone. I'm Christophe Guichard from the Cluster Unit of DG GROW at the European Commission, and I'm really pleased to address this webinar with very short opening remarks. Our event this morning shall give you some background information to help you prepare for upcoming matchmaking event in India. And this ECCP event will actually be the first event organized in India from the ECCP. So I'm really pleased to welcome all of you from across Europe to participate to this first edition of our matchmaking events, which will focus this time on digital and green technologies, advanced manufacturing, and health. And we have today a well-balanced delegation from across Europe. It includes 16 delegates with representatives mainly from clusters, but a few from companies from 7 European countries. So this session this morning, as Teodora said, will give you some guidance on how to do business and collaborate with India. It will also give you some general overview on trade trends and how to deal with IPR issues in the Indian market. You will receive also practical information on your participation in the Bangalore Tech Summit and the different site visits that have been scheduled to take advantage of all possible collaboration opportunities in India. I would like to thank all our counterparts for working together to make this matchmaking event a success. This includes the government of Karnataka, Global Business Inroads acting also as an EN international network partner in India, Invest India, the EU delegation to India, the India IP SME helpdesk, and the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. So, as you can see, this is really a great teamwork effort. The main objective for this event is to help European and Indian clusters and companies from the Karnataka region, but also across India, to create new trade and investment links and business partnerships. I want to stress that the European Commission is keen to be a facilitator of this process. The EU is the largest trader and one of the most open economies in the world. This matchmaking event intends to provide increased market access for our businesses and to make sure that our companies can benefit successfully from the trade and cooperation opportunities with Indian partners. Now, to come back on our event, we have prepared a very dense program with matchmaking sessions, informal business dinner, participation at the expo, and various site visits at the Bengaluru Tech Summit. And I would like to have one last remark. This is about the follow up of the business opportunities you will identify during this mission. The ECCP will send you a feedback survey immediately after the event, and I would like to stress the importance for us that you complete the survey carefully with details and concrete, but not confidential information on the different cooperation cases identified. We put in place a full agenda of networking opportunities over 3 days, and for this first edition in India, we would really appreciate if you could share detailed feedback to be able to assess the success of this mission and the cooperation potential with our partners. So I strongly encourage you to take all these opportunities and to network and matchmake with Indian partners during this mission. Thank you very much, and I wish you all successful meetings in India.
Thank you very much, Christoph, for these words, and really joining you thanking really deeply to our partners in the hard work. The preparation started a long time ago for this matchmaking event. For all of us, as you have stressed, it's really important as representing the European Cluster Collaboration Platform team. It is, as being this the first mission, it's really important, and everything that we are trying to build together, but also, as you have stressed now, to have a detailed follow-up, something that we will remind and we will speak later on. But now I'm also giving the floor to Harsha Linkham from the Global Business Inroads, our partners that we are communicating now on a daily basis and trying to build jointly this program to fulfill the program and bring this event to a success. Harsha, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Theodora. Thank you, Christoph, for your remarks as well. As Christoph mentioned, hi everybody. My name is Harsha Lingam. I'm the COO of Global Business Inroads. We are also, like he mentioned, we are an Enterprise Europe Network node here in India. And we have been collaborating very extensively with the government of Karnataka and the Indian ecosystem overall, promoting trade and research and business collaborations between India and EU over the last 10 years. And we've been deeply involved with the Karnataka government on some of the initiatives, including being a Global Innovation Alliance partner, which is an initiative of the Karnataka government to support collaborations between EU and India. So we've been a GIA partner for the Bangalore Tech Summit, and we've kind of coordinated multiple different interactions between the European Union and the Karnataka government also over the last 4 years. I just specifically wanted to also thank Ms. Ruchi Bindal, Deputy Secretary from the Government of Karnataka, as well as Shubhra Pandey from Invest India for joining us today. And yeah, we will be the point of contact on the ground, and we've been working with Theodora and the ECCP team to make sure that this delegation has very fruitful and successful interactions and collaborations. Yeah, thank you, Theodora.
Thank you very much, Harsha. Obviously, I mean, we will be jointly presenting some of the information later on, which is part of the overall setup of the event, but as well as you will give some kind of details on what to expect from the summit and how to further each participant to prepare further. Thank you for this. And now we are continuing with the part which is the market access information, a session that will give you really a lot of details. Once again, I would like to repeat that all the information that will be shared now during this webinar. Together with the recording, all the presentations will be uploaded by latest tomorrow on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform and will be shared with you with direct links. But of course, take some notes if you have questions, and we will be all happy to answer. So I'm now giving the floor to Jan-Philipp Kramer, the team leader, data and policy from Prognos, who is also part of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform team. Jan, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and good day, everybody, either morning or afternoon, however you like. It's a great pleasure to be back here at this event and be part of this preparation. And as Theodora said, the slides will be shared, so don't worry if there's too much information, but I will try to give you a brief summary of our input paper that has been prepared in order to prepare you on the economics, on the clusters, also on some of the key initiatives that are there to facilitate the partnership between the EU and India. And I hope this is useful for you to get a start and prepare yourselves. Just a very brief introduction and presentation of what has been going on, and also how the Indian economy is looking like nowadays. I think it's known to everybody that, especially to our Indian friends here, that there has been an impressive development over the last 30 years, right? And nowadays, India is the fifth biggest economy in the world, and the prospects are obviously quite enormous as a fast-growing economy. At the same time, you will notice that there are still quite some disparities in the country when it comes to the distribution between regions, and that may also somewhat be linked into what you see in the clusters later on. But this is, I think, something to keep in the back of your minds, that there may be some variations when it comes to the economic capacities. But this being said, of course, also means that there are untapped opportunities in some of the territories in order to develop business activities. When it comes to the sectoral profile, it's well known that obviously India is a stronghold globally in services. It's a very strong service economy, has a lot of IT in particular that has been driving the developments in the past years. And ICT alone accounts for 30% of the exports. At the same time, it's quite important to note that manufacturing is a key element with 15% of GVA almost in 2023, which means that there's quite some capacity in industry overall, in manufacturing in particular. You see all of these GVA figures on the right-hand side. I will not talk through all of them, but I mentioned already, of course, professional services as being central. I mentioned manufacturing, and of course, agriculture still plays an important role. And nowadays, I think we all know that food and food innovation is a key element for the future. Now, when looking at the trade profile on the next slide, we have already heard from Christophe Guichard from the European Commission that on the one hand, the EU is a very open economy, and we count a lot on trade. We also count a lot on the global rules on fair trade. And India at the same time is also characterized as a quite open economy, the most open economy in South Asia, in fact, when it comes to trade openness. And we do see that the trade volume between Europe and India is quite significant. If you look at the trade volume overall, it stands at more than 115 billion euros in 2022. And as I mentioned before, trade and services is quite significant, with over almost 51 billion euros in 2023, which of course also explains the trends mentioned earlier in the IT sector, which allows a lot of service interaction and services trade between the two economic regions. It's also maybe on the high note important to say that when it comes to trading goods, Europe is in fact more important than China and the US for India when it comes to trade, right? So that may not be true for services, but for sure it is true for goods. And I think this is also something to build upon in the future. I won't go through all of these elements here in the charts, but a few notes that may be of interest. On the one hand, when it comes to imports from India to the EU, we see that basically 3 countries make up half. So proportionally also accounting for the size of economies. We have Germany, we have Italy, we have France. So almost making up 50% of this pie of the 68 billion euros in import value. When it comes to exports from the EU to India, we see again these larger economies, but if you take the full stance at 5, at the top 5, you see Germany, you see Belgium, you see France, Italy, Netherlands, and Spain making 3/4 of the exports. So one can say that the strong exporting economies, which may be also the ones that include a lot of components and products and pre-manufactured goods from other parts of Europe into the exporting activity, are visible here. Of course, and that will be, I'm sure, a topic for later on, the free trade agreement between the EU and India is currently under negotiation. It was reopened, and of course, we also strongly believe that these trade agreements will further facilitate the interaction between Europe and India. When we look at the 7 most promising value chains, or the 7 most promising industrial ecosystems, you can see there are many. They are both manufacturing related, but also services and IT related. They all have different angles to it, whether it's more driven through the import to India, or the export from India into the EU, or their strategic potential. Clearly, aerospace and defense is a key element nowadays. When it comes to the more classical aircraft production, you can see that it already has a significant value in the export from the EU. The same is true for engines in that area. So both coming to more than 4.5 billion euros in export value from Europe to India, and showing a lot of future potential in this area. We have electronics. We have a very growing electronics industry in India, also maybe resembled by the tech summit that you will be participating. And there are many components also that India is already providing to European value chains, which are crucial. And we all know that in the electronics industry, there's a lot of dynamics. We know, for instance, in Bangalore, Foxconn is investing heavily, and this also shows that value chains are changing, and we need to come to secure value chains in many areas. We have health. Probably many of you have heard this term that India is the pharmacy of the world. And of course, also here, not least since the pandemic, we know that security of supply of pharmaceutical products is key, and that India's role in this space also is key for Europe's security of supply. And there are many things, medicaments, vaccines that are imported from India into the EU. Textile, I think you all know, it's also a key industry, which of course also is changing for the sustainability requirements. And here India is one of the key importers. Now, I cannot talk through all of them in all details, so I keep it rather short. Digital, I think I don't have to say so much about. It's crucial both on the hardware, but also on the software side, and also on the services side. Energy intensive industries, we do know that chemical and related products are quite crucial, making up around 20% of total trade. And we also have some other components which are critical for European production, such as aluminum, which is also heavily imported from India to Europe. And last but not least, actually the biggest sector for EU exports is machinery and transport equipments. So everything related to the mobility, transport, and automotive industrial ecosystem, being really by far the most relevant when it comes to the goods that have been traded, including parts of vehicles and accessories, and also pneumatic tires, for instance, which are accounted here. So this gives you an idea, I think, of the trade dynamics, the economic potentials, and also key areas. But the next slide will show you India is huge. So there's a lot of, I would not say complexity, but a lot of potential. And given the size of India, also its cluster landscape is quite diverse. And so I have to summarize a little bit for you about the key elements here. So on the map, you see the 13 major industrial clusters. Those comprise sometimes even across states agglomerations of different industries. There are also some minor or micro clusters all over India. And this is shown also in the coloring of the map. So states which have major clusters are the dark bluish color. Then light blue is the minor clusters. And those few states that do not have significant clusters are in gray. And another dimension which we hadn't included in earlier papers is the one on special economic zones. So they're also displayed here. I think this is also very important for business development considerations. They have been initiated by the Special Economic Zones Act in 2005. And up to April 2024, there were 375 registered special zones, special economic zones. And we have mapped out the 7 central government zones, because 375 on one map would be a bit difficult for you to show here. So keep that in mind. And what is important to say is that you see a variety of those industrial sectors that are represented in each of those 13 major clusters. And sometimes they are connected or overlapping with a special economic zone, and sometimes they do not. So in 4 cases, you have a direct overlap also of cluster structures and the special economic zones, which may lead to some additional opportunities. The spectrum, as I said, of sectors is covering all major manufacturing areas, chemicals, automobile, pharma, consumer appliances, so also electronic areas, but increasingly, of course, also ICT, engineering, and business services, which are there. If you only look at Bengaluru, where you will be visiting, you can see that you have 5 major elements in the clusters, ranging from IT and software, aviation and defense, electronics, energy, and last but not least, also chemicals and biotech. So a lot of things to explore there. Coming to the policy side of things, I think that's also important because there's quite a variety of support measures that have been put in place also in India, but also, and this is very important, and colleagues will be talking about that when it comes to the EU-India linkages. So let's start with the cluster policy portfolio. You see this pyramid and 2 additional elements, and they characterize the different support scheme. At the center of cluster support in India is a scheme run by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. This scheme is called the Micro and Small Enterprises Cluster Development Program, centered here in the pyramid, which gives companies and also government agencies grants to finance common facility centers, for instance, or to support infrastructure development. And then you have a set of other complementary schemes that maybe promote early stage cluster development in traditional industries, or that finance testing centers for clusters or labs for clusters, and of course also in the area of business support services and similar. So I think that's also useful when you interact with clusters, that they have this support scheme in their backing. On the linkages, I will keep it short because colleagues will be talking about this. There's the European Business and Technology Center, obviously, which is a lot of support and part of EN. We already heard about that, which also has some cluster elements in transport, aviation, and sports. Of course, we have the Europe-India Chamber of Commerce and all the structures of the chambers. We have the EU-India Connectivity Partnership, which is now part of EU Global Gateway, aiming to facilitate the cooperation and project development. And last but not least, Switch Asia, which has been introduced already in 2007 and is now also part of the Global Gateway initiative. So summing up very quickly on the next slide, I think you all know, or at least you had the impression to know, that India has seen really significant and impressive economic development over the last years, and we've seen some of the economic figures with industries making key contributions to that development, including the IT and software services sector, but also manufacturing, automotive. We do see that the potential is huge between the two economic areas, and the free trade agreement will add to that once it's concluded. Very rich cluster landscape, so many partners for the European side to coordinate and build business with, and the linkages that have been formed institutionally will be, I think, a really, really great help to facilitate that. So Theodora, you're already there. I should wrap up, really. I think everything has been prepared well to make this a success, and I hope this input gives you a little bit of background to be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jan. Just once again would like to mention here that this is just an extract, a small part of the input paper that has been developed. It's already on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, together with this summary as a presentation, but also the link to the input paper will be distributed to all. It's there, so you can really dive deeper in preparing the process of preparing for the event and understanding the different sectors and the overall cluster panorama. Thank you very much, Jan, for this presentation. And we continue further, and I'm really pleased, as you can see here, the QR code for the input paper. We continue further, and here it's a big pleasure to give the floor to Rushi Bindao, the Deputy Secretary of the Government of Karnataka, Department of Electronics, ITBT and CNIT. Rushi, it's a real pleasure. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Theodora. First and foremost, I would like to thank ECCP and GBI for arranging this and for bringing our European friends to Bengaluru and also to witness Bengaluru Tech Summit in November. Thank you so much for that. So, and also Jan for briefly explaining and very comprehensively laying down the picture that India has to offer and what you can expect from your visit to India. Now, taking a leaf from his presentation, I would like to deep dive into Karnataka, what Karnataka has to offer and what you can expect from the ecosystem that we have in the state. So to give you an overview of our innovation ecosystem, we are considered as the 4th largest technology cluster in the world. We have 2nd highest FDI inflow in financial year of 23, which is approximately 23% of FDI in India. And we have a very solid startup ecosystem in the state, and we have been performing as the best performer in this India state startup ranking for the 4th consecutive year this time. When we talk about business, we genuinely mean ease of doing business. So in Karnataka, we have been a top achiever in ease of doing business. We have been constantly improving our regulatory approvals, the process that you have to go through to set up your business in the state. That is a constant improvement that we are focusing on. Like I already mentioned, we have been the startup capital of India, and we have ranked topmost. We have been almost at the top when we talk about startup clusters in the world. And when we talk about different companies, we have 400 of the 500 Fortune companies in Karnataka, and we're very proud to say that it is all a very holistic ecosystem that we present whenever we talk about IT, data, AI, or services sector. You can also see the GSDP that our state has is 270 billion, which is growing at an approximate rate of 12.5% year on year. Now, the technology that I'm talking about spans across different sectors. Jan had covered in his presentations that we have aviation, we have health, we have biotech, we have IT services, and we have electronics and semiconductor, which is rightly so. If you see the IT exports that is contributed by Karnataka is 42%. The 33% of India's bioeconomy share is from the state. And we also have 15% of our electronics export. The startup unicorn valuation is 37% of India's entire valuation. I'm also happy to present the fact with you that in 2024 from India, there were 6 startups which were announced as unicorns, and all the 6 startups are from Karnataka. Bangalore has been the fastest growing city in the world. We know with the immense amount of growth that we're seeing in the city, it is contributing to our GSDP, it is contributing to our economy, but also it presents its own challenges. We do not run away from our challenges. We acknowledge that we have certain challenges when we see the city growing at such a fast pace. And the government is trying its best to deal with all of these challenges. And I assure that in coming few years, you would start seeing the changes in those challenges as well. When we talk about innovation, the backbone to any innovation is knowledge. So we also have a large knowledge base in Karnataka. We have 50% of the AI ML professionals working in the country out of Bangalore. We have a quarter of India's digital talent. 25% of Internet of Things talent pool in Karnataka, and these talent pools are surviving because of the strong institution base that we have, be it research institutions, be it engineering colleges, universities, ITIs, or institutes of excellence. So these institutions are building on the talent pool that we have and making them more employable for the market. When we talk about specific employment opportunities, we have around 20,000 plus automotive engineers and chip designers. Yeah, so more of the companies that we meet in our daily conversations, each and every company that is involved in electronics or semiconductor definitely tells us that we have majority of our talent pool or chip designers from Bangalore, from Karnataka. So the electronics and semiconductor is also a big contributor to our talent pool. We have aeronautical engineers, which is 10K plus, and PhDs. Now I would be moving on specific to IT ecosystem overview. We are considered not just the startup capital, but also the IT capital of India. We contribute 32% to the IT sector contributes 32% to the state's GSDP. We have around 5,500 plus IT companies situated in Karnataka. Many of these companies have their largest R&D base after their headquarters in Bangalore. For example, Microsoft, Dell, they have their biggest R&D infrastructure after their headquarters situated in Bangalore. We have IT professionals working, a million IT professionals working out of the state. Moving on to the second overview of startups, I have already covered a lot on startups. However, these are some of the numbers that you have in front of you, which is that total funding amount of Bengaluru-based startups has been USD 11 billion. Which is 44% of the total funding that is coming to India. On your right, if you see the graph, you see the Bangalore has made 1876 number of funding deals in the year 2020. And if the latest data is not out yet, but when it is out, I can rest assure you that this number is going to increase manifold. The below on the slide, you see that we have 13,000 DPIIT registered startups. We have around 114 incubators to facilitate the growth of these startups. Once they have been incubated, we accelerate them for their growth. We have 43 accelerators, and yeah, 40% of the national share of unicorns is in Karnataka. Now, when we talk about innovation, we focus on innovation through a four-pronged strategy. So the first strategy that we adopt is the futuristic policy. Different areas require different policies and different set of attention. So we have always believed in that, and hence we have different policy catering to different sectors. For example, engineering, research and development, startup policy, ESDM policy, which is electronics, semiconductor, design and manufacturing, IT policy, data center, biotech, animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics. And the latest policy, that draft policy that we have come out with, is the GCC policy. So under all these policies, we have a certain set of priorities that we have outlined. These priorities will be with respect to the different subsectors that we are focusing on, different incentives that we are offering to different companies, different startups, and also so the incentives are both monetary and non-monetary. So these policies lay down the roadmap for us when we talk about innovation. Second pillar that we have is the institutional support and ecosystem. So the ecosystem support that we have is through vision groups for different IT, biotech, and startups. So vision groups are an entity wherein different industry partners come in and advise the government on how to proceed in that particular sector. So we have always believed that the department cannot function in isolation. We need to take the inputs of the industry, who are the stalwarts of that particular sector. So they guide us, they advise us on how to move forward with our existing policies and also new policies. Then we have different centers of excellence, to which I will come in my later slide. These are basically the incubators that we have established in the state. Then different flagship schemes we have Elevate is where we give a grant to the startups. There is no stake in the startups, no equity that we take of startups, but we fund around 100 startups, and a grant of up to 50 lakhs is given to that startup to build their product. We have Grand Challenges Karnataka. Similar challenges we present to startups, and startups come out with their solutions and we fund them. We also have venture funds. Last but not the least is the outreach and engagement. So in the outreach, we have Bengaluru Tech Summit. So I am sure you will utilize it to the maximum. And we will be there with you throughout the summit. And GBI will be the contact person. And if you have any particular requests, anything that you wish to fulfill, please do get in touch with us. So these are the different centers of excellences that we have. The basic idea behind these centers is to skill the talent pool, to incubate the startups, to help them grow, to provide them the funding support, and also market access. So if you see, we have 13 centers of excellence and 5 are upcoming. These all sectors focus on niche areas. I'm not going to go through each and every centers. However, if you Google, you would be able to see all those centers and the amazing work that they have been doing. Bengaluru Tech Summit, so I do not have to sell it to you because you're already sold and you've purchased our arguments to visit us on BTS. So a hearty welcome to all of you, and we look forward to meeting you here, and I hope you get the best out of the summit. So we have also launched a mobile application for BTS. I request you to download that application and see on what are the potential meetings that you could fix through the app, and see if you can find your matchmaking there as well. So this is another outreach and engagement initiative that we take. I don't think I'm going to run through this right now. And that is all from my side. I hope I've not exceeded my time. And I really am looking forward to meeting you all at BTS in November. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rushi. Thank you very much for the presentation, but also for the overall support. I mean, and for this partnership, we are really very much looking forward. Something that have been sent by Christoph, but I speak here on behalf of the entire team as well as the EU delegation. This participation and this mission means a lot for us. So thank you very much. We will also have we will dedicate a special part for the matchmaking because we will be using the system. So we will cover that part. But we are really looking forward to meeting you in person. And now I'm giving the floor, very pleased to have as well Shubhra Pandey from the Invest India to give some other overview of the market. Shubhra, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Theodora. I hope I'm audible. Good morning to all of my colleagues and participants. I'm Shubhra Pandey. I'm representing Invest India, the National Investment Promotion and Facilitation Agency. We function under the Ministry of Commerce and Industries of the Government of India. And it's an honor to be here at the ECCP matchmaking event, addressing such a distinguished audience of European participants and experts. Zooming out slightly from the previous presentations, my presentation provides a broad perspective of India's economy and investment climate. I will be discussing the dynamic and evolving India opportunity, an ecosystem where technology and innovation are reshaping industries, fueling growth, and creating an open platform for collaboration. With an emphasis on partnership, India offers unique prospects for businesses aiming to expand and thrive in a robust tech-driven economy. I will open with discussing India's economy and global standing at large. India's economy is growing at an impressive rate, recording an 8.2% growth in FY 2023-24. By 2027, we're set to become the world's third largest economy. This momentum is supported by steady FDI inflows of $596 billion since 2014, which is a 100% increase over the previous decade. India's exports have also doubled since 2014, reaching $776 billion, with projections to cross $2 trillion by 2030. These achievements underscore India's rise as a global economic leader, powered by both its young, skilled workforce and a strategic focus on international partnerships. We'll be discussing some of the India's economic indicators in the next slide. So our PMI is in expansion for the past 31 months. Our worker population ratio is up to 46.9%. And our e-way bills are at 33.55 lakhs daily. We have had a strong capex upcycle, a 12-year low in housing inventory, and a 7.5% growth in core industries, highlighting resilience with CPI inflation at 5.49%. We'll discuss India's Amrit Kal vision, which is the plan from India turning 75 till the 100th year of India's independence. This is the next slide. So India's Amrit Kal vision is ambitious, aiming for a USD 32 to 35 trillion economy by 2047. With a 7.6% growth rate projected over the next 25 years, raising per capita income ninefold to USD $22,000. The industrial sector targets 35% of GDP, supported by the world's largest young workforce and world-class infrastructure to drive sustained progress. Theodora, can we move ahead in the presentation? The next slide, please. Thank you so much. I'll be discussing the production-linked incentives next. Our production-linked incentive program targets 14 key sectors, offering $26 billion incentive to boost domestic manufacturing. So far, 746 applications have been approved with a cumulative investment of INR 1.18 trillion. The program has generated over 8 lakh jobs and significant exports, attracting global players and supporting the growth of MSMEs in areas like telecom, medical devices, and food processing. India's infrastructure growth has also been impressive and has been evolving rapidly. Since 2014, metro rail networks have expanded from 5 to 20 cities daily. Highway construction has more than doubled. Rail electrification has nearly tripled. With a national infrastructure pipeline investment of $1.5 trillion planned by 2025, we're creating a robust environment to support both domestic and international businesses. We now have 149 airports, which is up from 74 in 2014, and the government's increased capital expenditure has been essential in funding these developments, with 21% in this pipeline being driven by private investments. I'll discuss a little bit about India's structural and economic reforms after this. India has India has transformed its business landscape through key structural reforms. The goods and services tax has replaced over 25 indirect taxes, while the corporate tax rate was reduced to 22% and 15% for new manufacturing units, making India an attractive hub for industries. Additionally, our labor laws have been rationalized from 29 into 4 main codes to simplify compliance, and FDI policies were liberalized across sectors such as telecom, defense, and pharmaceuticals. These reforms enhance India's competitiveness, facilitating ease of business and positioning India as an appealing investment destination for the world. Further, we have some more structural reforms like the National Single Window System, which offers a one-stop shop to investor approvals, the PM Gati Shakti, and the Unified Logistic Interface, which enhances connectivity and efficiency. So, further, we also have many ambitious projects like our logistics policy, our semicon mission, and India is looking to streamline a lot of processes, reduce costs, and this has been an edge for India for global investments as well. We can move on to Aurora.
You want more with more further there? While we are moving, just to tell Shubhra, there is some kind of noise that it's coming from your end, but cannot be sorted. It's we'll try to clear the recording.
Am I audible?
Yes, there is like noise. No, it's noise while you speak. I mean, I think this is from the microphone itself.
I'm really sorry about this, Theodore. Am I audible at all or no?
No, you continue. We'll try to clear the recording afterwards.
All right, thank you so much. So yeah, we'll be discussing India's digital economy and our technological advantages and advancements. So India's digital economy is, of course, thriving. We have about 900 million broadband connections, more than 700 districts covered by 5G network, and we're the second largest market for smartphones and internet users globally. Digital payment systems are also thriving within India. Now we are leading the retail digital payments worldwide. And India also has the goal to achieve $1 trillion digital, to become a $1 trillion digital economy by 2030. In the realm of R&D, India has jumped from the 81st to the 40th position in the Global Innovation Index since 2015. We've had increased investments. R&D spending is now 7th highest globally, and our initiatives like the National Quantum Mission and National Supercomputing Mission reflect India's drive to technological leadership, fostering innovations. And this will continue to support industries and investors alike. Our patent filings have also surged in the past 10 years. Now we have 90,000 patents from India just from the year 2023, which makes us the 6th largest in patent filings globally. India has also been at the forefront of sustainable energy initiatives aiming to expand renewable energy capacity to 1,000 gigawatts. We have already achieved 180 plus gigawatts ranking globally with renewables now comprising 40% of a generation mix. Additionally, under our sustainable alternative towards affordable transportation (SATAT) initiative, compressed biogas production is being expanded, helping to meet ambitious clean energy targets. Um, we have a plethora of projects underway right now, and India is on its way to create a greener energy future, further complemented by recently launched the Green Hydrogen Initiative. We'll also discuss a little bit about the National Biofuels Policy of 2018, which has laid the groundwork for substantial growth in India's biofuel sector. Ethanol blending in petrol has increased from 1.53% to 12% in 2023, and we aim to reach 20% by 2025. Compressed biogas blending obligations will also become mandatory from 2026, and it will support our vision for sustainable and affordable transport solutions. India's development story is also driven by inclusivity. Our programs like PMJAY, which is the PM Jan Aushadhiya Yojana, one of the largest healthcare programs, has extended health coverage to 100 million families, and 510 million bank accounts have been opened to ensure financial inclusion as well. The Housing for All initiatives has also delivered tremendously, with 24.1 million homes being constructed in rural areas, while access to affordable medicines has been enhanced through 93,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras, which are healthcare centers. So these programs have also been pivotal for India's vision for a sustainable and inclusive society that supports all citizens while driving prosperity. We also have a very robust startup ecosystem. India's startup ecosystem ranks third globally. We have 131,000 recognized startups and 115 unicorns to date. With startups emerging from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, we're seeing a balanced, widespread growth of innovation. With this thriving ecosystem is also supported by policies in 31 states and has generated over 1 million jobs. And this offers European investors and collaborators who are looking to connect with dynamic, scalable ventures. In conclusion, India represents a unique opportunity. Robust growth, ambitious infrastructure plans, and commitments to sustainable energy and digital expansion makes India an ideal partner for European businesses. India's openness to FDI, its emphasis on structural reforms, and our thriving digital and manufacturing sectors present multiple avenues for mutual collaborations. And we look forward to working together with you to realize this potential and to create partnerships that drives growth and prosperity. I thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Theodora, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Shubhra, for this presentation. Obviously, I mean, our colleagues now are moving through the different slides. We know that, I mean, you have prepared a really extensive presentation, which I now again repeat to all the participants that we will share. And once they manage to have a look of those details, I think that you will agree if they have some questions.
Yeah, we will be more than happy to address any questions, and if anybody wants to have a one-on-one meeting with Invest India as well, we'd be more than happy to facilitate those.
Yes, you will be, I believe you will be as well on site during the days of the event.
Right,
So,
right.
okay, I see one question maybe in the chat box so that you can directly, if you know the answer, you can follow up now, or of course we can
I'll
read
do
it.
that. I will respond to this.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shubhra.
Yeah,
So thank you,
thanks a
Shubhra.
lot.
We are really looking forward of meeting you in person, and we will address all the questions that the colleagues may have. And now, I mean, we will have another presentation for those participants from EU that have been previously at the latest matchmaking events, they know that we are trying also to cover an important topic about the IPSME help desk. So really happy to have here today Girish to do the presentation for the India IPSME help desk. Girish, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope I'm audible. Thank you, Theodora, and thank you, ECCP, for organizing this. To start off, I'll just share my presentation, and then I think so we can just take it from there. So hopefully everyone can see the presentation.
Yes, if you can just make it in a full screen mode.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, Theodora, and thank you everyone for being here. And I come from the state of Karnataka, and all of you, I'm based in Alicante, but I'm from Bangalore. So I'm really happy that there is a huge contingent going to India to the Bangalore Tech Summit. Apart from that, over here, I would just like to give a brief intro into intellectual property protection, the framework that is in India. Since the time is very limited, probably I'll not be able to give you deep insights, but then you can always contact us for any queries that you might have. But prior discussing about intellectual property, I will just take 1 minute to briefly highlight on what we do. So if you, in Europe, if you know, there was a study conducted by European Intellectual Property Organization in Alicante, Spain, which estimated that there was literally 45 billion direct sales loss due to counterfeit and infringement of European goods across the globe. And this was one of the main reasons for the European Commission to start this free project to assist European SMEs in any intellectual property query that they may have across various regions across the globe. So if you have any query regarding IP in Europe, be it patents, trademarks, trade secrets, or any Horizon projects, IP issues in your contracts, you can contact the European IP SME Help Desk. And I'm here representing the India IP SME Help Desk. If you have any queries regarding India, you can directly write to us, call us, or book a meeting with us. Apart from that, we also cover, there are colleagues of mine working for the Latin American IP SME Help Desk, Africa, China, and Southeast Asia. And the basic thing that we offer is everything is free of charge, so that you might have, be it patents, trademarks, trade secrets, or any NDAs that you have to get into, you can write to us, and we provide free services. And if you visit our website, there are a host of learning materials. So even that would give you a clue and give an idea about IP protection in India. And we also have something known as the cost tool. So if you want to protect your trademark, if you want to trademark in India, or if you want to trademark in Latin America, it will just give you a brief idea about how much it might cost you to protect a trademark, copyright, or patent in India. So please do visit our website. Apart from that, talking specifically about IP, I think so Shubhra briefly mentioned that there has been a huge spike in IP activity in India. Basically, she mentioned patenting activity, but it's also seen across various forms of IP. So in the past 4 to 5 years, even the Indian Intellectual Property Office has kind of fastened and the examination and the granting of IP applications has increased exponentially. This is seen in technological innovations and also in protecting your brands through trademarks. So this is one good thing. Earlier, if I have to mention the drastic change which has happened over the past 4 to 5 years, earlier, prior 2019, it probably used to get around, you had to wait around 4 years, nearly 48 months to get a patent protected. This was an invention protected. This was the average time frame, but right now it's decreased drastically. And if everything goes well, within 18 to 24 months, you can your patent granted, trademarks granted within maximum 10 months, you can have your trademark protected. And another great thing is things can be done digitally. So this also eases a lot of burden for the applicants. This is the increase in the patent protection that we have seen. So one specific thing with regards to prior going to India that we in the help desk usually suggest European SMEs is to conduct a basic patent search or a basic trademark search. So for us, we get cases where there is a small European SME who goes into India, starts its operation, gets into a distribution, gets into a contract with a distributor, but do not protect their trademarks. So when that happens, otherwise they do not protect, and later on they would want to protect the trademark or the logo, and then they find that there is already one existing, a similar trademark existing in India. Hence, to minimize all this, the preliminary thing to do prior venturing into India is there are free tools available. One which is made available by World Intellectual Property Organization, and also there is one from Indian Intellectual Property Office, where you can basically put in the details of your invention, the invention class that the technological class that the invention belongs. You can type in details of this, and then you can extract information about different applicants different competitors you might have to face in India, or also possible collaborators who are working in the same technological field. This is one thing. And the same thing, we always kind of recommend European SMEs to do the same for trademark search. And there are this websites, there are this free databases available, and please do use this prior going into India. Apart from that, I will I'll just rush as the time is limited. The first thing when we talk about intellectual property that comes to mind is protection of ideas, though ideas per se can't be protected, but if they have a technical feature, then you can draft in with respect to patent claims, you can claim, and then you can protect the technological aspect in India through patents. To register a patent in India, you can, there are two ways of registering a patent in India. One is directly going to the national office, Indian national office, and filing a patent application with the Indian national office. But the other alternative route, which is available for at least European SMEs, is something known as the PCT route. And India is party to the Patent Cooperation Treaty. Hence, usually we do recommend European SMEs to file for a PCT application in their local office. And the local office would then forward this application to World Intellectual Property Office, which is based in Geneva. And over there, it gives you literally a time period of around 30 months to decide whether you would want to enter India or any other country. So in the PCT application, there are over 150, if I'm not wrong, 150 countries who are party to the PCT treaty. So you can just designate which countries that you would want to enter into. So with a single application, you can enter multiple geographies. And India being party to this eases patent filing, and things can be done digitally. Post the 30-month period, in the sense once you have filed a PCT application and then you decide that you want to enter the Indian, if you want to enter or protect your invention in India, the application is then forwarded to the Indian Patent Office, who would then again conduct a basic examination based on novelty, inventiveness, which is the same standard as followed in Europe and by the European Patent Office or with the USPTO. So the examination quality is high in India, and the same measures and the same thresholds are followed in India. Apart from that, right now, we also see a lot of IT firms or software firms or AI inventions, AI companies would want to start up their businesses in India. One thing to note is softwares per se can't be patented. And this is true in India and also in Europe. But if they have a technical effect, then software with that technical effect can be patented in India. Though it is usually seen that the Indian Patent Office is a bit strict with regards to software patents. So again, it is always advisable to consult a patent attorney in India to, if you receive any objections for your patent claim. But even if you can't protect your algorithm or a software through patents, you can avail copyright protection on the source code by submitting the first 10 pages and the last 10 pages of the software code. That can be done. Apart from that, there is one other thing that we from the IP help desk usually recommend is if you have algorithms and you are getting into a partnership with an Indian distributor or an Indian partner to introduce your product, it is always good to sign non-disclosure agreements with the Indian partner. And don't disclose any algorithms, any trade secrets with anyone without signing NDAs. In India, though we do not have a trade secret regulation, but the Indian Contract Act and the Indian Penal Code, along with specific relief act, there is another legislation. You can use these particular legislations to protect your confidential information prior getting into any agreement with an Indian partner or disclosing any information to an Indian partner. So this is one thing that has to be noted, that right now we see a lot of inventions in the software and AI sector, which per se cannot be patented. And but the companies use the means of trade secret regulation to protect their interests. Apart from that, another important IP class that that European SMEs should be concerned about are the trademarks. So prior going to, this is one recommendation that we always give European SMEs, that have some form of IP protected. If you cannot protect your invention or your product through patents, which has a higher standard, at least go and have some form of IP registration done, be it through trademarks or through copyrights, or if you can get some design protection done for your product, you can avail that. But trademarks is one of the easier parts where you protect your brand, at least in India. And again, there is the international route available for trademark registration in India, which eases a lot, in the sense the whole process of application and registering is eased through this international route, wherein you file a basic trademark application with your local attorney, with your local office, and this would then be forwarded to the World Intellectual Property Office, which would then again forward it to the Indian Patent and Trademark Office. And then if you have any queries, if the Indian Trademark Office has any queries, or then they get back with the specific queries, and this is forwarded to WIPO, and WIPO again informs you about the happenings, and then you can respond to the specific queries. Hence, this is one of the easier routes, and everything can be done digitally. So hence, we recommend that you do protect your trademarks, and once you protect, you can always renew your trademarks. The first initial duration of protection is for 10 years, and which can subsequently be renewed. So I've basically covered registration of patents. There is an international route. Trademarks, there is an international route. designs, if you have to protect your designs of a product, which basically protects your outer structure, the aesthetics of the product, there is no international route, as India is not party to any international treaty. Hence, if you have to protect your designs, you will have to go to the Indian patent and design office and locally file an application there. So trademarks, patents, you can do it through the international route online. So please do avail this route. And I'll just briefly mention about enforcement, IP enforcement in India. IP enforcement, Indian courts take IP infringements very seriously. And over time, what we have seen is the courts have developed very prudent jurisprudence with respect to intellectual property. And if you have any infringement actions, you can basically avail two routes. One is the criminal enforcement route, and the other is the civil enforcement route. In the criminal enforcement route, if you know the place where the counterfeit products or the infringing products are being housed, you can collect some evidence of this through a third is evidence local police who would then fire and then seize the goods, and then there'll be a court hearing. If you avail the criminal enforcement route, one problem is that you can't claim damages, but the remedies of making sure that the counterfeit goods do not enter the market is more faster. So there is one pro and one con. You make sure that the counterfeit goods do not enter the market, but then you can't claim any damages if you want to claim any damages in criminal enforcement. But in civil enforcement, you go basically before the civil, you file a civil suit, and then the court would appoint the court commissioners who would then examine the defendant's premises or any counterfeit products that the defendant might have. Then even interim injunctions can be instituted by the court. And then you can pursue civil remedies wherein you claim damages. So basically to say that IP enforcement in India works pretty well, and the courts appreciate the rights of the owners. If there is, usually we see there are a lot more cases with regards to trademark infringement. And if there is a trademark infringement, the usual time period that we have seen is around literally 6 to 8 months to get an interim injunction. So even getting an interim injunction wherein the goods might be stopped from entering or the defendant identified. So these things can happen pretty rapidly. And within 6 months, you have some form of relief from the courts in case of trademark infringement. And the final, the final conclusion of the civil suit and claiming the damages, that can happen within 18 months. So which is literally pretty very good when considering the amount of cases the Indian judiciary handles. With this, I think so I will conclude my presentation. If you have any queries, you can write to us directly, and then we would be happy to help you, assist you in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Girish. There would be some questions. I mean, I will forward to you so you can respond. Yeah. So obviously, this is a topic that it's very interesting and it's very hard to be presented in the time of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm sure that because you see that majority of the participants are clusters, we do have some SMEs, but you know that the members of the clusters, they are SMEs, so they will be sharing the information with their members. And I'm sure we will also encourage, if they have some questions, to come back to you. So thank you very much for being with us.
Sure.
I mean,
Thank you.
you can look at the Q&A box. If I think the second question, if it is something that you can respond directly, that would be great. If
Okay,
not,
I will respond directly.
perfect.
I'll
Thank
answer
you
that.
so much.
Okay.
We continue further with the presentation of what to expect further. I mean, already Rushi gave some earlier during the webinar, gave some numbers about the Bangalore Tech Summit. I'll give the floor now to Harsha, but before that, if we can, we will see on the next slide the overall structure of the forthcoming mission. So you know that the first 2 days, the 19th and the 20th of November, we will spend the entire days during the Bangalore Tech Summit. And on the third day of our mission, we will have different site visits. Maybe Harsha, over to you with together with the next slide in order to give some more insights about the summit. You have been previously there, and basically we need to kind of to structure and to now guide our delegates what is important, how they to prepare, where to look about the program. It's a very diverse program. So I'm giving the floor to you, and we will switch to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Theodora, again. I think before that, I just wanted to say thank you to all our guests who presented, Girish, Shubhra, and Ms. Ruchi. I mean, if you want, you can please feel free to drop off or stay behind, because we're talking a little bit more directly to the delegation as well in terms of what we're going to be doing when they visit Bangalore. So please feel free to stay, or please feel free to log off, and we'll definitely, if there's any questions, comments regarding any of your presentations, we will reach out to you as Global Business Inroads to continue as well. Again, thank you, everybody. So coming back to Bangalore Tech Summit. So basically, this is the 27th edition of the summit. It's hosted by the Government of Karnataka, the Department of Electronics, IT, and BT, and Science and Technology. It's taking place on this 19th to 21st. So basically, this year's I think concept is looking at Unbound. So they want to look at looking at different developing collaborations across geographies, across sectors, in IT, deep tech, electronics, chip manufacturing and design, biotech, life science, and the startup ecosystem. As a Global Business Inroads, as an Enterprise Europe Network partner with the EN, we have been, like I mentioned earlier, a global alliance partner. So the Global Innovation Alliance basically is a unique initiative that was started by the Government of Karnataka, where they were inviting different regions, countries to partner with the government for technology and knowledge exchange. So we have been facilitating delegations to the Bangalore Tech Summit over the last 4 years, along with the European delegation. And it's definitely, one of the largest technology summits that takes place in India, specifically focused on these sectors. And I think Ms. Ruchi already presented a few numbers, but there's probably, I think, representation from more than 50 different countries, 5,000 plus delegates, the total about 700 plus exhibitors from the technology ecosystems. There's about 20,000 plus, attendees from the business and startup ecosystem, and I think about 50,000 visitors, coming in on a daily basis, sorry, through the entire program. So yeah, next slide. Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of different initiatives and opportunities at the summit. There is a very detailed agenda now that has been uploaded on the website. So you have opportunities to attend different programs in biotechnologies, the startup ecosystem, global collaborations, electronics and semiconductors, as well as other tech-focused sessions as well. Then another big part, I think we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so there's another big part. So these are like the agenda. There's also a little bit more detailed agenda as well if you go to the Bangalore Tech Summit. I think there was one question earlier regarding the app. I just got confirmation from the government of Karnataka that the app will be ready sometime later in this week. So as soon as it's done through Theodora and the CCTP team, we will be sharing the link to that app. So basically, that app will enable you to look at different sessions, attend them, as well as set up your B2B meetings. So we have also been able to get our session, which is basically being focused on building bridges between EU and India through clusters and industry associations. So we will also be getting Indian organizations to be part of this session. So this will be like a very, very interactive pitch kind of a session where the European clusters will get to pitch as well as the Indian organizations will get to pitch at this session. So this is happening on day 2 on the 20th of November between 4 and 5 p.m. India time in the afternoon. Yeah, so it should be a pretty interesting session where we will get a lot of different people. Not apart from the speakers, there should be a good audience as well. The session will definitely be promoted widely by the Karnataka government as well through their social media channels over the next few coming days. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we have a different kind of opportunities here. You have, like I mentioned, you can attend the sessions. You'll have access to that. You'll have access to the pavilions. So the pavilions, you'll be different types of, focused on sectors. They'll be focused on different types of organizations. So we'll probably also have a guided tour on day 1. So you'll get a good idea of the exhibition floor on who's where. So you can always, look at either setting up your Me2B meetings at the exhibition stall. You can go meet the representatives there, or you can use the B2B match platform, which I will kind of show you shortly as well. So like I also mentioned, you can also attend the sessions that are taking place at the summit. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, so maybe I'll just quickly just share my screen. I think just wanted to take everybody through So I think most of you or some of you have registered already. You will received access to this platform. It's called Interlinks. We can also share the link with you after the presentation. So once you register, you'll be able to kind of edit your profile, add the various sectors that you're interested in. You can also search for add products. You can also add like what kind of industry sectors that you're looking for in terms of collaborations. It's actually very similar to some of the B2 match platforms you might have used in the past. So you obviously have this is getting populated on a daily basis. So every day there will be new people logging in. This will get populated, and I think data from here will get populated into the app as well. So that I think there'll be a seamless kind of interaction between the two. So of course you can go to obviously you can also search for what kind of industry sectors that you're looking for in terms of collaborations, and of course you can search by names. We'll also be sharing a few recommendations from Global Business Inroads side. So you can search by name, by industry sector, by organization, by country, or any other keywords. And of course the profile of the person, it'll come up. You can either shortlist the partner, send a message, or request for a meeting with this person. And based on that, you will get a slot and a designated area to meet this person. And once they accept, I think you can go ahead with your B2B meetings. So for this, we're also going to be sending out a few emailers. So please, keep an eye out for mails from my colleague Debayan. You should be getting a lot of, we'll also be sending the recommendations for the B2B meeting. So you can set up your own B2B meetings. And of course, you have more than free to go through the platform yourself and set up your own meetings as well during the designated slots. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Harsha, for this presentation. I will, obviously use some of the information that you have already shared just to summarize some of the, when presenting now, what are the next steps towards the forthcoming mission. As we said earlier, it's 2 weeks apart. So this is really kind of a summary and what is now important. So we have shared with all the delegates, we have shared the link to register as a speaker, and it was explained basically why we are doing this. And the speaker rights is giving you the opportunity to click and select that you would like to participate in the matchmaking meetings. For those that have been previously part of the matchmaking events organized by the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, you know that we have been using the B2Match, but because this time we are setting up the event within the actual summit, and this, while discussing, we knew that by opening another B2B platform will only create difficulties to target, to reach and have the meetings with the local participants. We have decided to use the platform that has been just presented for some. So now, please, for those that haven't registered yet, it's really important you to register through the link that have been shared with you. As a speaker, Harsha presented that we have a special dedicated session on the second day in the afternoon from 4 to 4:50. That each of the participants from the European side will be given a time, like in the format of 1 minute and a half to present. We will send you an instructions. So in one slide, you will put the key highlights of the organization. We will give you a sample, as well as we'll send you the template, as well as there would be a time indicated till when we need those slides to be received back in order to make the master slide deck. As Harsha mentioned, this would be presentations from the European participants, but also there would be local counterparts, as well as there would be other participants within the room, as this is taking place on the global stage. We kindly ask you, because the program you've seen, we will share with you the detailed program of the mission. For those that haven't received it yet, we are updating it with the latest aspects at the moment. So on the first day, we will participate in the sessions. You've seen the different tracks. We highly recommend you to visit the official website and to check the conference program, because you are representing different sectors, and for some of you there would be many interesting sessions that you can attend. Also, we will have a guided tour, and you will be able, after the guided tour, to come back to some of the exhibitors and have some meetings on the first day in the afternoon. We kindly ask you, all meetings that you would like to schedule to use through the system, to use the dedicated time within the program, in our program. This is on the second date, the 20th of November, from 10 to 3 o'clock. This will give a chance, basically, to concentrate the matchmaking part of the event. Of course, any other ad hoc meetings could be taken place on the first day. Then we will have, after this time, we will have our joint session, and there will be more time, like 1 hour till the end of the event, that you can continue with more meetings, especially after the brief pitches that we have done. Please make sure, for those that haven't already sorted their entry visa, please make sure that this is sorted. If you need some letters, many have been already requesting an invitation letter, so we can sort this with the colleagues from GBI. We will send also, when we now finalize the program, especially for the site visits, we are having meetings today with the colleagues, as well as tomorrow. Once we confirm the site visits, though in the morning, the site visits, in the way we are preparing. The site visits that we will visit in the morning will be for everyone, and in the afternoon there will be a choice to select, and this depends on the sectorial focus. We will send you information so you can get back to us. So please, for the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, please make sure that you are really following the emails, you're responding. Also, something that is very important, the colleagues Harsha just mentioned, they're also screening because they have been sending invitations to potential clusters, representatives, and organizations to invite them to participate in the summit, especially to join us for the matchmaking part and the networking dinner, which is taking place on the second day. You will be getting also emails that this is like a recommendations pre-matching from, as I said, Harsha, the Bayan, his colleague, that is recommending you to look this in this specific organization. So please also take a look of those emails, because this is already kind of a pre-selection based on your interest that you have indicated during the call for expression of interest to join this event. So this is a really plea to be looking and to following up your emails. Also, we have sent you a recommendation. We have sent you the link to join the special LinkedIn group. Many of you have done this. Please do it, because we will be following up at the moment with some important aspects. And during the days of the event, some important details will be shared in the LinkedIn group. As I mentioned earlier today, all the information together with all the PowerPoint presentations and other useful documents will be shared with you tomorrow, together with the recording of the webinar. You can follow up, and if you have questions, please get back to us. It is really important during the next week and a half, to prepare in the best possible way. Closer to the event, around 13th of November, we will send you the participants booklet. We kindly ask you to take time and to make sure that you follow the meeting points and the meeting time, and you follow the meeting time for the 3 days. We have already which is the hotel that is the preferred hotel. We will have we arrange transfers from the hotel to the Bangalore Tech Summit and back to the hotel. Also, obviously, there will be information for the site visit. So please make sure that you are following the information that is presented in the participants booklet. Also, if there is some questions, it is now the time we have, we have reached the time for the webinar, but if you have some questions, please let us know. As I mentioned, we have been following with a lot of information. We will be requesting from you also to provide us with details about the pitching session, as well as the choice for the site visits. So there will be a lot of communication from our side. But of course, if you have any question at any point, please let us know. So some of the colleagues will be answering to you. Okay, so this is the information. I see that there is some information. Yes, we will send you the link to the platform. Already, I see that there is a platform, the question with regards to the platform for the B2B meetings. The moment you register, if you haven't registered yet, through the link that we have provided you as a speaker, that is the registration link for the Bangalore Tech Summit, please do so. The moment you do, and you indicate that you're interested to participate in the B2B meetings, you will receive the link. So please make sure that you register. And it's very important, as Harsha said earlier, that our session will be heavily promoted. So it is important to have all the speakers, and this is all participants from the European group. Please make sure that you register. Please make sure that you indicate that you are participating in the matchmaking sessions, because this is the way that you will be able to schedule your meetings. Also, for those that are having 2 members of the cluster, We also indicated in our emails that one member will register as a speaker, the other member will have a different link. So I think we have already provided you with that information. If some organizations are having doubts, please get back to us on the official email address EU Matchmaking, that all the communication is coming, so we can guide you what is the best way for you to register. When we are presenting on the stage, if you have 2 participants from one organization, one will be invited, as we will need to handle around 40 presentations in the time that we have. With that, I think I covered all I wanted to say in the time, but if there's some questions, please feel free to post your question at the moment. Otherwise, as said, you've really, we're encouraging you when you receive information later tomorrow to read the information, make sure that you're coming back to us with all the details that we need from you, but also we are open to hear any questions that you might have in the process of preparing for the event. Okay, so I don't see other open questions. No. And with that, I would like to thank all the colleagues that have been presenting and being with me today, and partners. Thank you very much. It was very engaging. It was a lot of information we have presented. But as we said, for all, this is it's of great importance to make the best out of this first pilot event, matchmaking event in India. So thank you very much to all participants that have been also with us this morning from the European delegation. And we are very much looking forward to build together and participate at a very strong matchmaking event. So thank you once again. With this, we are closing the webinar, and we're looking forward
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you all in Bangalore. Bye-bye.
Thank you.